This is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning May 1st, 2023. And on Monday, we have the moon in Virgo. Very particular Virgo, analytical and critical Virgo, and it is making and applying a closer opposition to deceptive nebulous Neptune. Yes, indeed. So, first thing on Monday, there's a little bit of confusion in the air. Maybe we're a little bit unsure of facts, or maybe there's, yes, some secrets that are being kept. We have to figure it out. We kind of have to weave our way through the deception. And in the meantime, we want to get going with hard work and organization. We are very focused on our health and wellness. But even there, Neptune is opposing the moon in Virgo. So even though we are ready for work, we are ready for analyzation, organization, and really want to get going on Monday. Right off the bat on Monday morning, we just have to really figure out all the confusion. But let's look at some of the other aspects. We have a sweet sextile with Mars, the planet of action, insecurity-minded Cancer now. Yes, and the moon is just past that sextile, exact sextile with Mars. But that's good because Mars in Cancer is very nurturing, and it's about security, protection, even what gives us security, what makes us feel protected. That's home and family, the comforts of home. And that could be literally our home, our abode, our home, our living situation, our family. So this is a focus on Monday is home, family, protection, security, and because of this very grounded moon in Virgo with the very emotional Mars in Cancer, it's going to be all about what? Back to nature. It's going to be about health and wellness, all the good things that Cancer and Virgo are connected with. Yes. And we've got Venus still in Virgo. Yes, indeed. The very light and airy, chatty planet of Venus in Gemini. Gemini is very chatty, very much about communications. And because Venus is about love and affection, even though there are some issues now, especially now with the T-square, with nebulous Neptune, and critical Virgo with chatty Gemini, we want to really express ourselves now in the written word, spoken words. Communications are somewhat fast and furious now, but yes, because of this T-square with Moon in Virgo, Neptune in Pisces, and chatty Gemini Venus, that only heightens this concern with what? With love. So on Monday, we may find some issues with deception or confusion, secrets, and so on with love. But hey, we want to talk things over. Talk, talk, talk. But we may feel in all our communication efforts that we may be not getting anywhere. So that only encourages this frustration between Venus, Moon, and Neptune. So the best thing to do on Monday with Mars and Virgo, Mars, Cancer, Virgo moon, is really to focus on nature, getting things done, work, organization, focus on our well being, and that will make us feel a lot better than getting into petty difficulties, disagreements, conflict, and confusion. And especially still, we have this stellium in Taurus. So, Taurus is what? Taurus is the second house. So, it's all about our values, our money, our income, saving for a rainy day, investments, even real estate, because Taurus is the sign of real estate and it's very grounding. And with that, we have Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, making a wide trine to the moon in Virgo. This is very intelligent, very practical. We want to make sound decisions. So that kind of offsets this T square in the mutable signs, this grounding energy with Uranus in Taurus and the moon in Virgo kind of tempers a little bit of this eccentricity and this unexpected, unpredictable nature of Uranus, and kind of channels or transmutes the energy with Taurus and Virgo into intelligent thought, common sense, taking the more practical, intelligent, sensible route. And although the Sun and Mercury are far from any kind of trine, except by sign with the moon in Virgo, it still lends for that additional practical grounding energy between Taurus and Virgo. And we still have the North Node and very sensitive uh, Taurus with the South Node in sensitive Scorpio. So this is a time we don't want to be too stubborn about our sensitivities and our outlooks. No, and especially since on Tuesday there's an applying square off with the nodes once the moon goes into Libra. And Jupiter is finalizing its time in Aries. But this is all about, before it moves into the next sign of Taurus, it's all about what? It's about ourselves. And it's all about taking the initiative. It's still, because it's in Aries, about the first house, about leaders, and so on and so forth. And Jupiter loves to be in prosperous Aries. So the luck factor here this week is taking initiative in our projects, kind of doing some behind the scenes, developing businesses, what have you, any independent ventures before Jupiter leaves the sign of Aries. Yes, and however, there is, well, pretty much a very wide square off with powerful Pluto, and soon Pluto will be flipping back into the sign of Capricorn. So a lot of issues from the past regarding the powers that be is going to come up again, and that is making the square off, yes, to very fortunate, prosperous, lucky Jupiter. So with Pluto, the power planet, and Jupiter, well, the lucky planet, this week, and as we further later on to this week and next week, there may be some issues with the powers that be kind of overstepping their bounds. Yes, because Pluto's dealing with power and Jupiter feels rather fortunate. And when there is this even wide out of sign square off, we're going to have to be very cautious around those that are in authorities, and there may be some issues worldwide with powers that be, leaderships, especially with Jupiter finishing up here in the sign of Aries, making an out of sign square to Pluto. So, yes, watch our P's and Q's this week. There may be some issues with especially those involved with law, those foreign anything, long distance travel, education, you name it, because of the square off with Pluto as well. So let's look ahead now to the next day, which is a Tuesday. Yes, indeed, Tuesday, May 2nd. Now we've got the moon in Libra now. Yes, we do. So the moon is going to, within a day, apply a square off to Mars. So tension is building a little bit. And earlier, I believe I mentioned there was going to be an applied square off to the nodes, but there is not here. So at least not yet. But nonetheless, with the moon in Libra, it's all about what? It's about people. It's about cooperation. So this is a wonderful trait about the moon in Libra. And early on Tuesday, maybe even late Monday, there's a beautiful trine with Pluto. So that kind of tempers this out of sign square off with Jupiter and Pluto. So air Pluto, air moon in Libra, it's all about people, it's about social interaction, social anything, communications, you name it. And within about a day and a half, there will then be an applying trine to chatty, romantic Venus, especially since Venus is the depositor of the moon in Libra. So, but starting off on Tuesday, we are feeling like we really want to get together. We want to bounce ideas off of each other. Cooperation is the key. The appreciation for beauty is also going to be elevated on Tuesday. Why? Because we have quite a bit of a stellium here in Taurus, and Taurus, like Libra, rulership is what? It's Venus in Gemini right now, but that only brings out, even on Tuesday, a little bit of this deception because of the square off with Neptune. So a little bit about confusion and secrets also on Tuesday. But hey, at least we want to cooperate. We really have quite an artistic flair on Tuesday. We really have an artistic flair, possibly, yes, believe it or not, because the second house is connected with culinary and food. This is a good time for cooking or involvement with anything with foods and the like on Tuesday because of this connection with Venus in Gemini. And it's also a good time. It heightens that desire for beauty and materialism to some degree because heavy Taurus with the moon in Venus is all about artistry, beauty. It's a good day for creative anything, entertainment, you name it. That's about Tuesday. However, we will have to be cautious now with all this Taurus going on of what we say, because Taurus is connected with the second house of what? Of speech. And in the sign of Taurus, with the North Node, Mercury, Sun, and especially shocking, unusual Uranus and Taurus, we have to be careful of our wording, and what we say may not have quite a bit of clarity to it. There could be some disputes over mix-up of he said, she said, or I thought you meant this and you meant that, especially because the depositor of this Taurus stellium and now the moon in Libra is Venus, which is squared off by nebulous Neptune. So the key here, especially on Tuesday, is be very clear clear about what you mean and about what your intentions are, and sidestep those in authority, or don't overstep your bounds with authority as well on Tuesday. This is the time to take a hint from the positive of Libra, is to be cooperative and mindful of manners and social graces. Now let's look ahead to the next day, which is Wednesday. Now we are at midweek, and there is an applying trine with sweet Venus, the ruler of Libra. So on Wednesday, we're feeling even more chatty as the moon moves into more of the degrees of Libra and applying that trine, that sweet trine with chatty Venus. Yes, so kind of like the day before on Tuesday, you've got this emphasis with Taurus and its depositor of Venus as with Libra. So we're feeling rather chatty. But like Tuesday, it's all about what? It's about clear speaking, clear thinking, and really saying what is on our mind and expressing our intentions, not keeping secrets and not being confusing or unclear. However, we also have an applying square off now with Mars in Cancer. So that kind of gives us a little feeling of insecurity or uncertainty with our communications with others on Wednesday, because the moon's in communicative Libra, and although that's an applying trying to wonderful communicative chatty Venus in Gemini, Mars in Cancer is now feeling a little insecure with this moon in Libra. So we're feeling a little touchy on Wednesday and maybe a little bit snappish because we're talking Mars, the action planet in Cancer, and with the square off or applying square off with the moon in Libra, well, this may make for some awkward or uncomfortable social interactions as much as we want to socialize and are really mindful of our manners and social graces. So if you can, just kind of hold back your tongue a little bit, especially with this Taurus second house emphasis, and try to feel more secure, more protective. Kind of use the power of positive thinking to kind of take away this feeling of insecurity socially on Wednesday. And now we're going to move forward to the next day, which is Thursday, and that is May 4th. And the moon now is in Scorpio and Mars is in Cancer still. However, yes, now the North Node does connect up with the moon at 0 degrees critical Scorpio, and the North Node in opposition at 4 degrees of Taurus. So there is a bit of a T-square going on now, but within the fixed signs between the North Node, the moon in Scorpio, very intense Scorpio, power planet Pluto in Aquarius, and the North Node in Taurus. So remember, the North Nodes are very sensitive, kind of a touchy point, almost like Mars in Cancer, but it's the node. So we're kind of feeling a little intuitive, maybe a little psychical or very sensitive on Thursday, but we've got kind of detached, now retrograde officially, Pluto in Aquarius with this Scorpio moon North Node. So it's about, well, there's that issue again with the powers that be. So this could involve Also leadership issues, especially issues with authorities, maybe even management or people that we feel that are authorities to each of us. So this says basically don't get into tit for tat with those that are in charge. Kind of hold your tongue if you can, especially because now Pluto is officially retrograde, and this is going to kind of toughen up Pluto's presence here, and especially what is always retrograde. It's about the past, especially because we have yet Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So, a lot of issues coming up from the past that we have to correct, especially dealing with those in authorities, and this could also create unexpected Aquarius conflicts with those with the powers that be. And we may find that there are those on Thursday that are just a tad overstepping their bounds. Really a lot going on Thursday, even with each other, with a little bit with some bullying, kind of speaking out of turn, and some power plays. But we have to kind of temper that with the sweet connection between Mars and the unexpected planet of Uranus, with some protection, kind of use a little compassion, kind of looking at the positive here, especially between Uranus and the applying Sun applying to a sextile with Mars. We have to look at the positive here and just take the practical approach to make us feel more secure and more protected, especially since there was a little touchiness on Wednesday, a little bit of the power plays on Thursday. So, yes, this week could be a little bit up and down, kind of like the prior week, a little bit like a roller coaster. And especially now we've got Mars to add to a little bit of this confusion on Thursday, now officially making within about 6 degrees a square off and getting closer to a lucky Jupiter. So we're wanting to spend a little bit, or maybe we realized we spent a little bit too much, and that's creating a little bit more crankiness in the atmosphere on Thursday. So the trick here on Thursday, and as we come into the end of the week, is to just hold off on our spending, because that's going to make us feel a little bit more touchy with that Mars and security minded Cancer and Jupiter in lucky Aries. This is the time you want to save for a rainy day. Don't overspend in a pinch, but you want to save. So yes, mark Thursday on your calendar for just kind of holding back and just kind of meditate if you can. Thursday. Now let's look forward officially to the weekend on Friday, May 5th. And now the moon is past the nodes, both Scorpio and Taurus. And oh, it is applying, this is really sweet, a trine, and will be officially a trine on Saturday with Mars. So even though the moon was in early Scorpio on Thursday, and there is some touchiness with the square offs. Now, at least at the start of the weekend, with the moon in Scorpio applying a sweet trine to Mars action planet, we're starting to feel a little bit more relaxed. But we cannot overlook the fact that there is this opposition, yes, indeed, with the sun. It is, yes, it is the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Scorpio. So, yes, we're going to start feeling the effects late Wednesday and Thursday of this sense of tension. Yes, we have to pull back on the reins here during this full moon because why? The full moon is applying a conjunction with unexpected Uranus, and that is making an opposition to the moon. So on Friday, what is that? It's expect the unexpected. Keep aware, this is the time not to get into any stubborn conflicts. And that could also be connected with the internet, social media, and so on and so forth. There could be some issues or breakdowns with communications, with the internet, anything to do with computers, groups, you name it. There could be some kind of cause now, especially with the moon in Scorpio. Very strong sense of justice, and the days before with the moon in Libra, there's something possibly along the lines of legalities here that could really be riling us up to a just cause on Friday, and we are feeling very somewhat obstinate as well, and we will have to temper our actions on Friday. We don't want to get into unnecessary conflicts, especially group conflicts, social media, the media, you name it. We want to feel that we can kind of chill out, meditate, develop a positive outlook with this applying trine to the action planet of Mars. And that's what is key here, especially since, guess what? With all this ouchiness in the chart, especially Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, at least now the moon in intense Scorpio is applying the next day on Saturday a sweet grand trine now in water with the Mars planet action and protective Cancer, the very dreamy, spiritual, psychical, sensitive, compassionate Neptune Pisces, and the moon in Scorpio. So at least with all this tension, we have a desire to kind of pull back, maybe apply a little compassion and humanity, especially even retrograde with Pluto and Aquarius, to others' causes. And that's key here with this double-edged sword, you could say, with all that's going on Friday. Yes, and let's backtrack the day before. Also, there was a trine to sweet Saturn. So at least on Thursday, even in a little bit of that uncertainty, we're going to get some work done. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is now Saturday. Yes, Saturday the 6th. And the moon is void in Scorpio and applying, however, an out of sign sextile to Pluto. So Pluto is very fixed now in Aquarius, and it is the ruler of Scorpio. So uh, Pluto's presence here this week, especially once the moon goes into Scorpio on late Thursday and Friday and early Saturday, is the trick here is what? To cooperate, and especially cooperate socially, because Aquarius is connected with the collective and group. So as stated before, there's really going to be some issue that we're going to feel very passionate about over the weekend, and this could create conflicts socially. But with the out of sign sextile to Pluto, that gives us a little bit of some grounding. Pluto is very focused, and this really gives us the impetus on Saturday towards hard work. Yes, and even work trying to balance and create peace within relationships. So that's a good aspect with the out of sign sextile to Pluto on Saturday. Yes, and there is this sweet trine, still yet a grand water trine on Saturday between the voided moon in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, and Mars in Cancer. So that kind of acts as a band-aid on Saturday, if you will, towards the last few days that have been a little bit uncertain and a little bit rocky. So with the compassionate water trine here, it's about really being sensitive, uh, go within, meditate. That is key here with a little bit of this roller coaster ride this week, is to really go within, develop compassion. And what else is water about? Especially with Neptune Pisces, it's about really having compassion, not so much just for others, but it is about developing compassion for ourselves. And this would be a perfect time over the weekend to really kind of look into spiritual issues, perhaps some metaphysical, meditation, psychic work, you name it, even anything to do with medical or medicine, because that deals along the lines of our sensitivities and our emotions. Yes. So now let's look ahead to the final day, which is Sunday. And that's Sunday, May the 7th. And now officially the moon is in Sagittarius. So the depositor here is Jupiter late in Aries. So this is the day on Sunday. We want to take the initiative. We're feeling finally really positive, like we really want to work, nothing can go wrong, and this is a good day for leaderships or communicating now with those in authorities, because by Monday the moon is applying a sweet fire trine to lucky Jupiter in Aries. So come Monday, maybe even late Sunday, we may get some good what? Money news. But with the trine, kind of like with the square come Monday, and this is applying on Sunday, we don't want to overspend. And what else is the trine connected with, especially with Jupiter? It's about exaggeration. So the tendency to exaggerate, really kind of not telling things the way they are on Sunday, may be a bit difficult to handle, because that's Sagittarius. They really like truth. They like to tell it like it is. And with the trine, we're feeling ever so good on Sunday. But also, the moon is just past this square off with Saturn as it did on Sunday. So it is kind of a wide square off on Sunday, but more officially as it was the day prior on Saturday. So although we want to focus on our work, we may feel that we're not quite getting as much done as we had hoped. But with the moon in Sagittarius, that does give us a very positive outlook about our future and our goals. And this is a time, even though Mercury is still retrograde, this is a time for doing some background planning, especially with this sweet fire energy between Jupiter and the moon in Sagittarius. And now officially on Sunday, yes indeed, Venus, the planet of love and affection, is at 0 critical of Cancer, and that makes what is called a quincunx, or an inconjunct, which is a little bit of a friction connection with powerhouse Pluto. So, yes, even on a Sunday, we may have to watch our words and not really getting into some power plays with each other on Sunday, maybe going into Monday of next week because of this quincunx aspect with Venus and Pluto, especially in the love zone, because Venus is always about love and affection. And that can be romantic love, family, it can even be with work and business. So, yes, Sunday, Monday, going into next week, we just have to watch our tongue and just kind of take it easy. Good time for some downtime. And we also have Mars still in touchy Cancer squaring off Jupiter. So, this is the time we additionally here too have to, kind of like the connection with the moon and Sagittarius, have to watch our spending. And I would say that pretty much for all of this weekend. But with the grand trine earlier on Friday and Saturday, with all the uncertainty, that's also giving us a good feeling towards ourselves and feeling like we just want to spend a little bit more than we should. So, if we can just watch our words on Sunday, especially, we still have this Taurus emphasis, and watch out for bullying and conflicts this week, especially group conflicts. Also, because of this Taurus emphasis, one last note, we've got the Sun with Uranus on Sunday and pretty much this weekend. There also could be a lookout for natural disasters, earthquakes, volcanoes, and the like. And that could also be weather or even space with Pluto and Aquarius related anomalies. So, this we also have to watch out for sure. But because of this connection with Taurus, and because there's some T squares earlier in the week, and towards weekend, the grand trines, it's kind of a mixed bag this week. We have to be careful of conflicts, unnecessary and unexpected conflicts and disputes, and bullying. And we have to take a hint from the trine on the weekend. And this is the time that we want to develop our compassion. This is a time, if there is some kind of big concern in the news, in our lives, that's really drawing out our emotions, we have to stay away from the drama of midweek and later. Take a hint from the moon in Sagittarius during the weekend and develop a positive, energetic attitude. And with that, until next week, next weekly celestial forecast, many, many blessings.